the meeting and we'll immediately go into Bill's presentation. So let's take these 10 minutes to introduce ourselves. And the brag question for today is, did anybody go to Hamvention? Do you have any stories from Hamvention you want to bring up? So I'm Bill, Alpha 4 Quebec, and I haven't been to Hamvention since '78.
Norman, no. Walton JHG.
Just
No,
introduce yourself.
Did not go to Hamvention, although I watched some of the streaming video from Hamvention a little bit. It's interesting. Haven't been there for 5 years.
You guys.
Mickey K5. I went to 2 Hamventions in the late '70s, and I didn't find out till yesterday that they had one. Very
Comment K7R. When I lived in Iowa, I went through 5 different times, but the last time I think was '96, so it's a little too far to drive.
Wait the camera at yourself and introduce yourself, Virgil.
Oh, yeah, I didn't go. Virgil K7BZ.
Anybody on the Zoom meeting want to chime in? Each of you go through and introduce yourselves, and you can answer the brag question or talk about anything you want to talk about.
Last time I went, on Saturday, I decided I was going to walk the entire flea market. Started at 8 o'clock and finished at 5.
Oh, jeez.
So
How many pairs of shoes did you go through?
a lot of times it was just, oh, okay, there's a table.
I was at Hamvention. I had my press credentials as editor of NCJ, and I had a great time. I saw a lot of old friends, and I didn't get COVID, so that was good. And I'm actually working on a photo spread for the next NCJ that I've been working on it most of the day today, with a lot of pictures from N6 TV and some that I took myself between the contest university, the contest dinner, and the contest forum. So that'll be coming out in the next July, August NCJ.
Jim, go next.
Who, me?
You.
Oh, hi. I can have a little trouble hearing you too. Yep. I did not go. I did not get to go to the convention. It's been a long time since I've been to a convention. I miss them. We should have one here, so it'd be easier to get to.
Bill, go ahead.
Oh, I did not go to Dayton. I only have so much vacation time, and I went to the Cayman Islands for WPXCW, and I'm still there. I'm at the QTH of Stan ZF9CW ZF5T. That's where I'm talking from right now.
How about Steve?
Did not, this K7SP, did not make it to Dayton this year. I've been to 3 or 4 of them in the past, but not this year. And I want to say hello to all my friends who were at the club site meeting, and all of them here on Zoom. So good to see everybody.
Thanks. Mike?
Yeah, Mike K7ING. I didn't go to Dayton. Haven't been there ever. And someday, not this year though.
Okay, well, we've got a few more seconds before 7 o'clock. Anybody else want to say anything or make any comments to the club while we're all here? Otherwise, I'm going to pick this gavel up and hit it and start the meeting at 7.
Just a quick comment that I met some of Bill's future teammates from the 3Y0J expedition that we'll hear about. And so WD5COV and Adrian KO7SS SCV and NP4G were all there. And I've got a great picture of Dave holding a bottle of champagne with the Bouvet name on it, Bouvet brand champagne, which I found to be very humorous. I looked at it today. But anyway, they collected a lot of donations for the expedition. I hope so. That it's looking good.
Great. Anything else? Okay. With that, I'm going to hit the gavel. Calling the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Skip to the next one. Our speaker today will be Bill Kilo Oscar 0 Sierra Sierra, talking about the 3 Yankee 0 Juliet DXpedition to Bouvet Island. And hopefully there won't be too much of a lag time before we get the presentation up. So go ahead, Bill, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, hi, everybody I'm in the Cayman Islands. I was down here for the WPXCW. And so I'm still on Cayman Brac at the QTH of ZF9CW, ZF5T. Or maybe I would have just driven up to Scottsdale if I was home. But anyway, so this is the standard talk that we have, the standard set of slides. I've added a couple pictures, but I guess what I hope to mainly offer is just answering questions that you guys have. It is a DX club. A lot of this is old news, I suspect. But I've been with the DXpedition since day one. I was on it when it was Paul N6PSE's project. And then I transferred over when the Norwegians took over the DXpedition. So I've been in the working groups for almost a year now. So these are a lot of the standard slides. I don't think anybody here doesn't know where Bouvet is. That's pretty straightforward. This is just all the usual details, but most DXers have sat and looked at this kind of stuff, and not too much to go over here, except it's obviously going to be very challenging, especially with the wind speeds. So this is the history of the Bouvet operations. Like I said, most people here probably have worked at my 3 QSOs are from 3Y5X in 1989. The other activations are listed here. So probably no one has any questions where Bouvet Island is. There's the 13 operators. The travel is probably going to be closer to 10 days. We are taking a fast sailboat. We're leaving from the Falkland Islands. We're going to have westerly winds. We're going to be on Bouvet for 21 days. And then we're going to go up to South Africa to continue with the westerly winds. So we're hoping it's 10 days or less either way. And when you see the boat we're going on, you'll probably appreciate that. The goal is 6 or 7 stations running 24/7 and 200K QSOs. That, of course, is very dependent on FT8, but we'll be going over that on some of the slides. We certainly appreciate all the support by the ham clubs in the Central Arizona donating through the NCDXF. So these are the team members. It originally was with Paul N6PSE, and then it kind of changed over to the Norwegian group above. Adrian's been with it since the start, KO7SS, Axel, myself, Dave. He's kind of hidden under the pictures. That's WD5COV at VP8SSI. Jeremy's one of the Norwegians. Mike, AB5EB, he is a contester. He's an ER physician in Austin, Texas. Lots of people know Otis and they know Pete. There's another member of the team that's a retired Norwegian Navy captain. He's about 42 years old, and he is in charge of all the Zoom landings and a lot of the logistics that we've been doing. So our boat is the Marama. Originally, it was going to be the Braveheart, and of course, the Braveheart going out of commission was one of the fallouts when N6PSE was running it. So the Braveheart's a 101-foot ocean sailing boat. It's a little hidden there, but 12 years of sailing between Ushuaia, South America, and Antarctica. It's fast. In a previous life, it was a racing yacht. You can see the picture down in the lower corner. It's solid aluminum, and the inside, the pictures we've seen of the inside look good. We've seen videos of the whole thing. And the highlight probably for the Marama was like the 2016 Antigua Super Yacht Challenge. And it took like second place. So this was a picture of our boat during the Antigua Challenge. It's unlike, the joke of course is it's unlikely we'll be riding on it in this exact situation. But the boat is very fast. So the Marama was bought 4 years ago, and it was turned into an Antarctic cruise vessel. And in the spring, they sail in the Arctic up by Svalbard, Greenland, and then they spend the Antarctic summer sailing down there. These pictures are literally just from this last season. So the captain and the crew, they've been there. They know what it's going to be like, and they're very interested in doing this. We're going to be at the end of their season, so we don't have any time constraints. Their season to Antarctica starts maybe December 15th or December 1st or so, and we're going on January 6th. So they're kind of devoting the last 40 days of their season to us. They're going to drop us off in South Africa and continue back to Europe. So there isn't any real time constraints on the boat. So the landing site, previous DXpeditions to Bouvet have been at the weather station, which is on the northeast side of the island. This just is not going to work out. It's a penguin colony. Norway simply does not allow anybody to land there. It's just that simple. So Cape Fee is the places that have been selected as previous attempts, although some groups that had helicopters were going to land on the glacier. But Cape Fee is very easy for Zodiac landings. The Norwegians have talked to other Norwegians that have been down there. We've seen videos of people landing on the beach. The Norwegian co-leaders said it's just plain doable. It just did not seem a problem to do Zodiac landings, which takes the pressure of helicopter flying days off of us. If we get a 1 hour window break, we can send 2 or 3 Zodiac loads over to the island. So this is the Bouvet landing site. The ridge along the top, that's Cape Fee. That's where our station's going to be. There's a couple more slides. But this is the beach that we're going to be landing on. There's no rocks. The prevailing winds are from the west, and so this is on the southeast side. It's sheltered. You can see that it looks like a relatively easy landing. And like I said, we've talked to people that have been there, and they said it's just plain doable in a Zodiac. So that's our landing site. We're going to go up on that ridge line. The glacier has melted significantly. We have up-to-date satellite photos, and it's probably 50 to 100 feet farther back than what you see here. So this is the ridge line. The beach is down below. So as you can see, the tents, these are the directions we're going to be beaming. The best shots, of course, to JA. Eastern Europeans, the next best shot. Central Europe, North America, East Coast, North America, West Coast. was a little bit more challenging, but I'm happy to take questions on propagation studies or that we've done. So this is, again, the picture of the beach. There is the proposed campsite. We probably will just be able to walk the stuff up. We have brought ladders, we have brought winches, we've brought electric winches. We just don't know till we get there. We've covered all the possibilities. The beach landing is not going to be the issue, though. You can see it's a long stretch of rock-free sand, so it should be pretty good. So this is our master plan. This is a very busy slide. We are just bringing an amazing amount of equipment. We're going to go over that. This is the antenna patch paddles. This is the network switch. This is sort of the Norwegian's job and Adrian, KO7SS. I am on the medical team, I'm on the safety team, I'm on the food team, and I'm on the antenna team. So I can say, the other slides will show this stuff has all been hooked up. We've hooked all this up. We've tested it. So the goal, of course, is to get what we can on the island. The goal is to get a generator, a tent, a radio, an amp, and some antennas going. And that's going to be as soon as possible. But this is the master plan. Again, more of the master plan. Again, I have not been involved in this part much. The antennas I have been involved in. On the left side is the antenna field. There are going to be 3 beams, as you can see right in the middle of the left-hand side of the screen. Tri-band Yagis, they're going to be fixed on North America. At the bottom of the screen, you can see that we're going to have 2 tri-banders fixed on Asia. And in the center of the screen, you can see that we're going to have tri-banders fixed on Europe. The main bands we're expecting is 2017 and 15 with the SFI will be appropriate, and I suspect 20 and 17 will be open 24 hours a day, and probably 15 will also. So 403A has donated an amazing amount of stuff. Innov Antennas has donated an amazing amount of stuff towards the antenna. All the coax, DX Engineering has donated a lot of the low band stuff. And this is the master plan. And like I said, this has all been set up in Norway. We'll go over that in a couple slides. So we decided to go with the Elecraft K3Ss. There are 12 operators on this, and we realized that between 12 of us, we had 20 of these radios. And there are radios. Elecraft is actually providing a lot of Pelican cases. There was initially some thought of taking the K4, but these are our radios. We know they work. We know how to use them. Another thing is the 5th point down, the convenient computer USB interface. Essentially, just with one USB plug to the computer, you can run RIDI, CW, voice keyers, everything. So we went with the Elecraft K3Ss. So expert amps is what we went with. I guess the picture on the right side is getting blocked out. And he's not going to be happy, but that's Ray W2RE. His remote stations, he swapped out all his SPE amplifiers because he put Flex PGXL radios in, because he has SO2R needs with his remote stations for contests. So basically he gave us, Adrian drove over and picked up 6 of the amps from Ray. We sent them over to Italy. SPE refurbished them completely and sent them on to Norway. It turns out almost all of us on the team have SPE expert amps, and the Europeans are going to bring theirs. One of the logistical problems so far has been getting stuff to Norway onto the shipping container. And since there's 5 Norwegians involved, we decided on that route. So the computers, again, this is definitely my thing. This is the Norwegians and Adrian KO7SS. We've got the laptops. They've all been tested. They've all been wired up. They've all been run. We have all the usual station accessories. Rig experts from the Ukrainian hams are always important. This has to do with FT8. I have to admit, this is Adrian's slide. This is how FT8 is going to work on Bouvet. I have actually never operated FT8. I guess that's a goal before we leave. It's a goal for all of us. But there are several good FT8 operators. And like I said, that's going to be a huge proportion of our contacts, I suspect. So everything has been tested. These guys, we bought a Zodiac boat. We had it delivered to Norway. It's going on the shipping container in Oslo. And this is a picture of Rune. They were out there in January in coastal Norway testing the Zodiac landing system. The problem with the Zodiac is not getting it on the beach, it's getting it back out to sea. And so the Zodiacs are going to be loaded with 50-gallon drums, the standard blue barrels. We can fit 5 on each Zodiac. And we're just going to let them drift into shore. We're going to empty them, pull the Zodiac back out, same thing. So they won't necessarily be manned Zodiacs. The antennas in the upper left, that's Ken, LA7GIA, and Rune again. They were out there putting up verticals in the middle of winter. You can't see on the right side, but that's one of the tents. They had it up all winter. The tents were made in Norway. The food's made in Norway. Because of import issues, 95% of the stuff is Norwegian of origin.
Hey,
So the
Bill,
vertical antennas were donated by DX Engineering. Dave WD5COV, that's his house in Deming. And he made the 80 and 160 meter verticals. The right upper corner behind my picture, that's my backyard in town in Tucson. And I built up all the 40 and 30 meter verticals. We have phased vertical kits. We have phasing. It's all been tested. It's all been built. It's all sitting in Norway now because we shipped it there. On the lower left is the 4 230 meter verticals and 240 meter verticals from DX Engineering that they're sitting in my backyard before they were put up. So the summary of the antenna farm, like I said, we're going to have tri-banders dedicated to Asia, to Europe, to North America. They're going to be fixed. It's too difficult to rotate them, as it turns out. We're going to have the 2-WARC dual banders, 2-element WARC dual banders. They're going to be fixed the same way. The 403 triplexers and diplexers have all been opened up, tested. They've all been done. We've got 40 meter verticals, 30 meter verticals. We've got spider pole verticals, wire antennas. Those are probably going to be the first antennas up with the spider pole verticals. They've all been tested. So we decided to go with diesel generators. It turns out we can use the diesel from the boat. These are heavier than gas generators, but the captain was not going to have barrels of gasoline on his sailboat. So we have 5 of these, and yes, they weigh 181 pounds, but we're going to get them up there. They're already in Norway. They've been tested and burned in. The shipping crate in Norway is going to be sent off on September 1st. So most of the stuff is in Norway and has been tested. So in April, at the end of April, just a month ago, we all met at LN8W at the superstation. And we set everything up. We spent 3 days. We set everything up and we took everything down. And it's going in the shipping container. So this is all of us. This was the equipment testing at LNAW. We had the tents up, show you more pictures. The rig all set up. That's the space heater in the center. We have aluminum masts. We put up 2 different beams with the aluminum mast to make sure there wasn't any interaction. That's the 160-meter spider pole antenna sitting there. We laid out the 40 radials. That's me loading the stuff in the trailer at Ken's house, LA7GIA, to drive out to the farm at LN8W. So this is LN8W in the background. So that is our little tri-bander, of course, but LN8W is beyond belief. Of course, they've got stacked 4 elements on 40 meters. At the top of the right-hand tower is a 3-element 80 in between 2 stacked 4-element 40s. And it almost makes the tri-banders look trivial. So this is us putting up one of the verticals. We put it down, or we put it up, we took it down. We did this 4 or 5 different times. We have all the guy ropes already cut. We have 6 of these masts for the 3 different, or for the 6 different antennas. We had actually put another one of these up by the LN8W towers so that we could test for interstation interference. We spent 3 days over there. So these are the tents. They're made in Norway. They've been tested in Svalbard. We're going to have the radio tent and the socializing tent connected. And then we're going to have the sleeping tent as a third. The problem is we have no size perspective on the plateau. There's no way to know how big it is. The drawings of the tents that we put on that plateau, they're probably way too big, and these tents will easily fit. We hope they will fit in the topography. And we're going to make some windbreaks with volcanic rocks and shelter them somewhat from the wind. So these are we're going to have FT8 stations. We're going to have 4 of them running 24/7. So these have all been tested, run, the Sun SDRs. Turns out I've never used one, but these are perfect for FT8 radios. And so we are going to have 24/7 FT8. We've tested it with CW and phone on the same band. And the SDRs are only going to run 100 watts. We use theirs on the other band, but there was no interaction whatsoever when we were there. These are the 403 triplexers. They're on their stands. That's all DX engineering cable. These were set up in the tents in Norway. We ran the stations through them. There just isn't any interference. And so that was a major part of the testing. Spent 3 days doing this. So this is Adrian on the left, Ken on the right, and that's Axel DL6 KVA. This is one of the stations that was literally transmitting on 20 and 40 at the same time to 2 different antennas 100 feet apart with the 403A filters and everything in place. Worked fine. They made a bunch of contacts. So it was actually really nice having the team meeting. This is us sitting around. We ate 3 meals a day for 3 days. This is the whole group. Three of the hams couldn't make it. They were, a couple of them were newer members to the team, and it was just too quick a notice for them to get the time off and get the plane tickets. So after 3 days at LN8W, I kind of actually missed all these guys. It'll actually be kind of a fun time. So the budget's $690,000. We've all paid our $20,000 plus tickets to Norway, all that kind of stuff, winter equipment. most of the budget's going to cover the boat. It's $500,000. But we have them lined up for 45 days. And depending how fast we get there, could be cheaper. It's when we get to South Africa is when the taxi meter stops running. But for $500,000, we get 45 days. When the Braveheart was going to be the vessel, we were going to have a lot of crew help. They were going to potentially bring us meals. Although once it became clear that the Zodiac landings were going to be an issue, we're probably going to be a little bit more on ourselves, but by ourselves. The crew is going to go fishing, but no fresh food, meats, vegetables of any kind to be brought onto Bouvet. It all has to be in vacuum sealed containers. They don't want any bacteria or bugs. So these are the sponsors. Down in the left is the Bouvet Wine Company. They gave us bottles to give away at Dayton and the German Hamfests and European Hamfests. Right, we have a Facebook page, 2,000 members following us. We have a YouTube page with some videos on it. And that's the end. Those are the prepared Dayton slides. And like I said, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I've been with this group for a year now. So there's not much, that I probably can't answer, I guess. Hopefully that went through.
In the room or on the Zoom meeting, anybody, just go ahead and take yourself off mute, pipe up and ask.
Yes, this is K7H. I have a question. What would be the direction from Bouvet to us here in Arizona? So what should be the best orientation to our antennas? Let's say 160, if you want to, contact you guys down there.
Well, that's an excellent question. So from Bouvet to W6, W7 is 310 degrees direct path. All signals arrive at Bouvet at less than 14 degrees arrival angle. And as you can see from some of the pictures, we're probably blocked the first 5 or 6 degrees. So between 6 degree takeoff angle and 14 degree arrival angle, there will definitely be signals. So I guess, let's see if we're beaming 310. Well, actually, so the other thing is long path. As it turns out, when we are there, it is the equinox, the winter solstice. And the terminator line literally goes from Bouvet up through North America. And so using VOCAP, VOACAP online, long path should actually be very, very useful. So I guess you guys would be beaming 310 and the direct path would be us beaming 310. So it's at 130 degrees would be the direct path. Does that answer that?
It sure does. Thank you very much. What kind of antennas you guys estimated?
That's a very good question too. So we actually are going to have a remote receiving antenna. And we have 200 meters of 75 ohm coax. And so that's
thank you so much.
One of the things with 160 and 80 meter propagation is this, I mean, December 15th of the 21st is the longest day of the year down there. there's only going to be 3 to 4 hours, 3 hours of true darkness. And so, yes, the gray line propagation will be there, but there is a very small window on a 24-hour basis for 160 and 80 meters. Dave WD5COV is the hardest core 160 meter fanatic you've ever met. He's from Deming. So he's going to do 160.
Appreciate. Thank you very much.
I got one.
Go ahead.
On your photo there, the map for the antenna headings shows North America along the ridge line. Is that going uphill? Takeoff angle is uphill or downhill?
Yes. So, like I said, yes, you are correct. From where our exact sighting is, we will be missing the first 5 to 6 degrees beaming North America. With Europe, it's missing the first 3 to 4 degrees. And then, of course, it's out over water to Asia. So on that map of the directions, we actually can get, we're just going to have to see what the reverse beacon network, we're just going to have to see how it works. The problem is with using the antenna modeling programs is it's very difficult to get good topography of Bouvet. There's basically 2 ways that is done. You can use the topographical map, just like we would use, N6BV's programs here in the United States. The problem is those maps were made by a cartographer. He probably had 20 points, 30 points, 40 points. And he kind of, when they draw the lines on a topographical map, it is somewhat to the cartographer's discretion. So when we plug in all those data points, it can make N6BV's program, it can make it challenging. There's other satellite ways of getting data angles for topography. We are correct. We are not going to have the first 4 to 5 degrees towards North America. We do know that all signals arrive on 14 degrees. So it won't block, but we're going to see, because we have the option of moving farther up onto that ridge line with the North American antennas. We plan to be there for 21 days. And so we will make adjustments. That's been taken into consideration.
Well, that's okay. My antennas don't radiate below 4 degrees anyway.
Well, that is a point.
You get lots of new topographic information with all your GPS sensors, though.
Well, we've run all these through all the programs, and it's definitely doable. North America is a challenge. We are on the southwest side of a volcanic island. Like I said, more promising also, particularly on like 20 meters and 17 meters, is the thought of long path, because the Terminator is going to go right over us at that time to North America. It will be a very strong long path, I'd imagine.
Yep, that'd be good. No problemo.
Anyone else?
This is Douglas. Tell me about the age profile of your team. I'm very curious. You look at some teams and they're all old guys. You guys seem a little young.
I couldn't hear that.
Can you comment on the age profile of the team?
On the what profile?
Age.
Well, I tell you what, I'm the oldest one. So I'm 65. Adrian is 42. Otis, NP4G, is 40. So they're the ones going to be doing some of the heavy lifting. But no, I'm the oldest one. and I'm 65 years old. The average age is 52. Other questions?
Anybody else in the room? Okay, you mentioned you might have strong long path to North America, and you mentioned that you're gonna have Yagis dedicated to North America. Will they be pointed long path or short path? And is that gonna cause a problem?
Well, it's going to see, again, it's going to depend on the RBN spots that we're getting. The antennas can be turned. And so it's all going to depend how it goes the first couple days. The antennas can be turned. They can't just be turned instantly. You have to go out and you have to turn them manually, because there's no way a rotor can support the Yagis that we have in 100-mile-an-hour wind. And so that, like I said, as far as North America, it's definitely going to be see what happens in the first couple days.
Okay. Any other questions from the room or from the Zoom? Well, I really appreciate you presenting to us. I think it made for an interesting and fairly relevant topic for this club. So thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of your trip in Caymans, and hopefully we'll see you in person sometime soon.
Well, thanks for having me. Hope I answered some questions.
And you're of course welcome to stay on the Zoom, or you can drop off, whichever you. Well, you're in Caymans. You're a couple hours east of us, so it's probably getting kind of late there. But thanks so much for presenting to us.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Much good luck and a safe trip, Bill.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. 73.
Oh, bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Reinhardt, good nabbing.
I think what I had on the agenda was after the presentation, we take a few minutes break. The guy bringing snacks couldn't make it, but the sodas and there's some water in the cooler. And we'll take about 5 minutes. You can hit the head if you need to, and then we'll pick it up with the business meeting, which we'll go through really quick. If you all on Zoom can just stand by for a couple minutes. Sorry? No, you can, okay. For y'all in the Zoom meeting, we were probably too far from the microphone to hear you, but we were talking about the unsuccessful meteor scatter week last week or earlier this week. So there's a couple of people who have stepped out, but we're not going to miss much. So let's bring up the agenda again. And let's start stepping through it. And there we go. Okay, Mike said he couldn't make it. He stopped by momentarily, but I'm now displaying the treasurer's report. Like last month, we've got over $9,000 in. We're spending $110 a month on the room, and we have 121 members. So not much has changed since last month. Any questions from the room or from the Zoom meeting on this? And if so, I'll forward it on to Mike. Okay, next slide. The Visalia Committee. I emailed Ned a couple days ago, and he said that the International DX Convention Committee is now holding regular meetings. Their website, dxconvention.com, is up and running. In the middle of June, I think you said June 13th, they're going to post the hotel contact and reservation and rate information. And Ned is trying to set up a conference app that we can download to our phones that will give us access to schedules and banquet seating and things like that. Turns out one of his daughters, who he's probably referring to the one that works with me at Intel, has the technical skill to set something like that up. So he's got help working on it. He's more of a hardware guy. Anyway, so we should hear more about that as we get closer to next April. I think that's what it is. Okay, next slide. DXCC totals. Israel, do you have anything to say, or should we just, or Larry, you and Israel have been talking?
Yeah, it's very preliminary. I don't think we should talk about
Okay.
it.
So we'll bring that up next month. Next slide. Any other club business from the floor? Is anybody interested in doing a club field day? It's good because I have 2 other clubs that have invited me. Anybody on the Zoom or in the room have any club business we should discuss? Nothing heard. And the next slide should be on the air activities. Tom, NQ7R, you're up.
Okay, yeah, we can start with this one too. I've been a little lax in, trying to set up a schedule. And so my main source for DXpedition's information is NG3K, who has an extensive web page. So I went through and picked, I try to pick expeditions where there's a group, say 4 or more. And so there isn't going to be a group expedition until August is like the next one. And I'll send this out to the Group IO page in a little better format. But this will give you an idea of where we're headed in the future. And I don't think I'm going to put Bouvet as a DXpedition activity because it's so rare. I just sometimes think, if everybody's trying to work them on every band, there's going to be somebody who's going to lose out on even getting one contact. So, I mean, people can do whatever they want, but don't want to do it as an activity. So if we start go to the DX challenge, not a lot of change. Rick W0RIC has been very active. And of course, Steve is just doing a phenomenal job with his 50 watts. In fact, I saw him today working some, he was calling some Europeans on 6 meters. I don't know if he got any of them, but he does a really good job. And so I hope I got everybody's
We
report.
can't see your spreadsheet here online.
But if I didn't, we'll put them in the next one.
Can someone get it switched so we can see the spreadsheet?
Somebody asked a question.
There we go.
Anyway, we go to the triple play. Again, not too many people are interested in that. So, but I'll keep it going for a while anyway. I was thinking in July, I was thinking I might pick another group of countries, but since there's not a lot of that interest, I may just leave it the way it is. If we go to the DX Marathon group, again, we got Rick and Larry doing a tremendous job for the year. You know, 200 countries in the year is I think pretty exceptional. Are you going to hit 250?
Well, but that's, I mean, Rick's on pace to do that, and I'd say, well, I took a month off, obviously, certain I told him, but I would say it's possible. My best was 260 a couple years ago, in 2019, pre-COVID. So 250, 260 for one of us is probably going to be.
Yeah. Well, with the uptick in the solar cycle, going to make things a little easier this year. Anyway, we got some, I think, some pretty high quality people doing the marathon. If you go to the DXpeditions, I really kind of screwed up on this one. I apologize. When I sent out my spreadsheet, I didn't put the 3D2RRR in there. So those people that have worked on will catch that up next month. The T88 and the OH0, I never heard of them. So I don't know if anybody actually worked them or not within the club. But they tend not to be real easy to work, especially the OH0. So I think I'll probably just delete those later. If we go on to 6 meters, again, got some pretty good numbers. I've been missing most of the openings because I go to the rec center in the mornings. That seems to be when the openings are. And but the other night I got on and the 6 was opened, you know, in the evening. And I'm going to jump on my soapbox. And one thing that kind of bugs me is when I call CQ, most of the people, when they come back with TX1, which to me wastes 15 seconds. And as you know, if you're on 6 meters much, sometimes that can be the difference between completing or not. Now, there is an advantage. One guy called me and I could see that he was up in the Pacific Northwest and I was aimed towards Europe. So when I swung the beam around, he went from like -10 to +6. But I always call with TX2. But
For those of us chasing that name, you actually want the grids. Yeah.
But
we want the grid. We're chasing that.
So I've noticed on HF, seems like more guys will call when they answer CQ, they'll answer with TX2 to save a little time. But I could see the advantage on 6 meters with the including the grid square, but still, I had maybe 3 or 4 contacts that never completed because it just dropped out. Anyway, just my personal peeve, I guess. Anyway, if we go to the last 2, again, some of my wild hair ideas here that not too many people are interested in. But I have tried 5 different digital modes just to try to figure out how they work. And There was somebody the other night on 30 meters, there was a station transmitting. I never could figure out what mode it was. It wasn't one of the more common ones, but anyway, there's a lot of different choices. And then for the alphabet soup, Larry, did you work color?
No, I probably didn't.
But I don't know, I just threw it in there. Cutter's a kind of a rare one, and of course, Yemen hasn't been on anyway, so nobody's got all of the alphabet. But anyway, that's it. If you still have data to send in, you can send it in anytime. And if I miss something, we'll get it corrected the next time.
Okay, thanks, Tom. And what's the next one? The next one is in the meeting. Anybody else have anything before we close out? Anybody on the Zoom meeting have anything to say? Well, those of us here in the room have to put chairs away. Thanks for attending, and see you all next month.
Thank you, 73.
Thanks for being on Zoom. Yep.